New Scotland Yard, Part 1, production number 1593, recording date 16/2/73, take 1.
Hello. 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 Oh, push the coin in, can't you? Hello.
I don't know why we complain about flipping Russia and flipping China, mate. I mean, we got it all here, haven't we?
Got what, Sammy?
A police state, mate, that's what. You're walking down the street minding your own business, not harming a living soul, and suddenly, bingo, you get lumbered. Just like that, right out of the blue. Oh, here's poor old Sammy. Been a quiet day, nothing much happening. Let's lumber the poor old sod. Don't matter if you ain't doing nothing. Oh,
All
no.
right, Sammy.
All right? It ain't all right. And you ain't heard the last of this neither.
Don't expect we have. Hey, heard the last.
Sarge, all I did was...
What you didn't do is get yourself dragged behind the ears.
Sarge, I resent that.
Do you know him, do you?
Yeah, it's Samuel George Cutler, known pickpocket, at least 18 previous convictions dating back to...
personally.
Of course not.
He's a barrack room lawyer, son. A barrack room lawyer. He knows it all.
Hey?
Look, he's enjoying this. He's going to love it.
I don't understand, Sarge.
You will. The charges.
Sarge is a known pickpocket. He was obviously...
The charges?
Well, loitering with intent, acting suspiciously.
He really is going to love it. Watch. Well then, Sammy.
You've done it this time. You really have done it, Sarge. I wasn't doing nothing. Not a blind thing.
You had a good morning, didn't you?
Last night.
Eh?
Dogs, White City.
89 quid.
Yeah, 5 out of 6 forecast. Dual forecast. I got a nose for it, see?
Receipts?
A greyhound wins. Give over.
The dollars, Sammy.
Well, always had 'em, haven't I? I got 'em from a Yankee sailor. He had some birdie in tow, you know, and he wanted some English money. All he had was American dollars. Banks was closed. So I changed them for him. No law against that, is there?
The wallet, Sammy. Yours, is it?
No.
Ah.
I found it, didn't I?
Yeah, you found it, all right, in someone's pocket in Phoenix Road, where I picked him up by the bus queue, Sarge.
Tell him, Sergeant.
He don't work the streets, son. He's a specialist. Works the big railway stations, Waterloo, Charing Cross, Victoria.
That's right, my modus operandi. Always has been. I mean, used to be. I mean, I don't do any more, retired, don't I? I ain't dipped a pocket since I come out after my last whack of porridge.
Yeah, well, Waterloo, Charing Cross, they're not far from where I picked him up. He could have just come from either of them.
Could have, but didn't. No, I found that wallet lying on the pavement just before little boy Blue here picked me up. As a matter of fact, I was actually on my way to this police station to hand it in.
Hey, you're slipping, Sammy. I mean, that must have come from your last dip. Eh? You didn't even have time to ditch the wallet, did you? You see, he works very quickly, son. Takes the cash out of the wallet and then sticks it in the nearest rubbish bin.
Look, I found that wallet.
And we'll find the rest, scattered around whichever railway station you happen to have been working. Now, you're lucky there's no identification in that one. Hang on. A cup of tea, Sammy.
No,
You can have a sugar bun with it.
There's no use you trying to sweeten me like that, mate.
No strings, Sammy. Constable Fleetwood's treating.
Oh. All right, then. Don't keep me hanging about much longer, mate, because I know the law, see?
All right, Sammy.
Right. And I found that wallet.
Yeah, like Ellie did.
Well, you try telling a magistrate different.
With his record,
You think the station officer would accept the charge?
I don't see why he should get away with it.
Get on with your list. It's £4. And sundry items.
Yeah, there's 89 quid's worth of other people's money there, Sarge.
Now, you know it. And I know it. And Sammy knows we can't prove it.
There's a number here, Sarge.
Well, what about it?
Well, it's got 7 figures. It could be a telephone number at 246 5442.
Could be a bank balance.
Yeah, well, I know it's only a guess, but isn't it worth a try?
Well, even if it is a phone number, it's not going to be the owner's, is it?
No, somebody knows, though.
All right. So you dial the number. And you ask the voice at the other end, excuse me, do you happen to know anybody who might have had his pocket picked recently? There. All right. Just for you, Fleetwood. Five, 4, 4, 2.
Hello. This is 246 5442.
Would you mind telling me when I can go to work? Look, I can't be around here much longer, you know.
Mrs.
It's-
Stone?
Right. Are you in charge of this lot?
Yes,
Well, perhaps you can tell me how long I'm going to be kept hanging around here.
until you've answered some questions. All right?
Well, I've done that already to the first couple that come along.
Yes, I know. But I'm the investigating officer. I'd like you to tell me
Tell you what?
everything you know about this.
Well, that's easy. Nothing.
Now, look, Mrs. Stone, this is a very serious crime. It's a case of murder.
Well, nothing that signifies,
Let
then.
me be the judge of what's significant. You just give me the facts.
The fact is, Mr. Radkin got himself shot. Now, don't ask me who did it or why, because I don't know.
All right. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? How did you come to find him?
I didn't.
Well, not literally,
Now,
perhaps.
look, you wouldn't want me to tell you a lie now, would you?
You knew or suspected that something was wrong, so you phoned the police.
Wrong. I phoned the fire brigade.
Initially, yes. Now, why did you do that?
Haven't they told you?
Never mind what anybody else has told me. I want you to tell me.
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? I was afraid the house might get burned down.
What made you think that might happen?
I didn't think. I knew it might. And I was right, too.
All right. Then tell me what happened.
Well, I heard the postman come, so I popped down to see if there was any letters for me.
Just a minute.
And
You say you popped downstairs. Now, does that mean to say you live here, in this house, with Mr. Radkin?
live with him? You've got a nerve. What do you take me
as
for?
a housekeeper, perhaps.
Do I look like a housekeeper? Oh, well, come to think of it, I suppose I might. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes, don't they? Well, I'm not. I'm a businesswoman. And as far as Mr. Radkin's concerned, I'm just his tenant. Well, I was his tenant. I don't know whose tenant I am now.
No, you'll find that out in due course. Meanwhile, you have a flat upstairs.
Well, you can call it that if you like. It's a couple of rooms, kitchenette and a mini bath. It's a dump.
All right. You have a dump upstairs. You heard the postman come. You came down to see if there were any letters for you. And what time was that?
Oh, about 9:15, give or take 5 minutes.
And then?
Then I heard it.
Heard what?
His kettle.
You heard his kettle.
Whistling. It went on and on. So I knocked on his door, and he didn't answer. Well, he couldn't, could he? But I mean, I wasn't to know that then. So I tried the handle, and it was locked. And I said to myself, well, here's a nice kettle of fish, I said. He's gone out, he's left the light on under the kettle. If we're not careful, we shall have the house burned down. So I went upstairs to phone.
Oh, you have your own separate line up there, do you?
Yes, I do. I need it for my business. I'm in the rag trade, you know. Well, on the fringes of the rag trade, let's say.
So, you went up to your dump and you dialed 999.
Oh, you're quick, you are. 999. Fire service I asked for. And I must say, credit where credit is due. They were here within 5 minutes. Anyway, one of them broke the window round the back, got in, turned the gas off under the kettle, then he come through here, unlocked this door, and then he came out and he said we'd all have to wait until the police got here.
Oh?
Me and the other fireman.
Ah, yes, of course, yes.
Right, have you finished with me now?
No, not yet. Now, in the half hour before you heard the postman, did you see or hear anything suspicious?
Well, how could I? I was upstairs, wasn't I?
Well, you might have looked out of your window.
Well, I might have, but I didn't, because I was round the back, up in the kitchenette. I mean, I was getting breakfast, washing up, all
And you
that.
didn't hear anything either? I mean, nothing that could have been a shock, for instance?
I had the wireless on.
Pity. All right. Tell me everything you know about William Radcliffe.
Nothing.
Now, look, Mrs. Stone, that won't do. I mean, you lived here, didn't you?
Look, I was only his tenant.
All right, if you insist. How long had you been his tenant?
Only 3 weeks, that's all. And that's 3 weeks too long, believe you me.
Ah, you didn't care for him as a landlord.
Oh, you can say that again twice. He couldn't care less as long as he got his fancy rent.
Why'd you take the rooms then?
Look, they're not two a penny, are they? I got turned out of me last dump, didn't I? What do you think I'm going to do? Kip down under the arches?
All right, you'd been a tenant here for 3 weeks. You must have learned something about your landlord. Was he married, for instance?
I haven't a clue.
Well, let's put it this way. Did he live here with anyone, or was he alone?
Search me.
Not very observant, are you?
Look, I keep myself to myself.
Governor, if you've finished.
Oh, right, can I go now?
No, you can't. I've still got some more questions, and then I need it all in writing. Go up to your dump and wait.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, hell.
That phone call, you're not going to believe this.
After that witness, I'll believe anything.
And that wasn't the only case. There was another time. Bow Street, 1958, I think it was. No, 59. Don't matter. Anyway, I conducted my own defence, I did. Wore my best suit. Looked like a lawyer. Anyway, the beak, you see, he was trying to make out these banknotes could be traced. It was found on me about my person when they picked me up. As I said, he tried to make out it could be traced. So I stood up in court and I said, but, Your Honour, I said, but a banknote does not have any name or address on it. And a pound note cannot talk, can it? Well, it did it, didn't it? I clinched it. Didn't have a leg to stand on after that. I got a public apology from the bench for that one. About time, too. Hang on. What about me, then?
Hold him.
Hold me? What for? What's the charge? I ain't been booked yet. I want to see somebody in authority. Blimey, you look as if you don't know what day it is. You do. Here, cup hold of that. I'll have another cup of tea. Any more of them sugar buns going, I'll have a couple of them as well. Right? I know the law, I do.
Where did you pick him up?
Phoenix Road, sir, Vauxhall.
What time?
About 9:35 this morning, sir.
And he says he found it.
He says.
He is a known pickpocket, sir. Record as long as your arm.
So at 8:30, William Radkin is killed here. An hour later, this turns up in Vauxhall.
Well, they do happen. Coincidences. We need a lucky break sometime.
You're sure there was nothing else in here? No identification of any kind?
Nothing whatsoever, sir.
You're still holding Cutler?
Oh, yes, sir.
Right, I'll want to see him later. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Sir.
What's that?
Found in his wardrobe.
Oh, he has got a wife, then.
I don't think so. There were no other women's clothes there, just this and some bits and pieces. Scent, makeup.
Well, even if Madam upstairs wants to keep herself to herself, someone will know who she is. Neighbours. Get the house-to-house team on it.
Right. Oh, the ballistic officer would like a word.
Yeah. Mr. Lester. Oh. Sit down, please. Well, anything yet?
A very small caliber bullet. Probably find it was a 2-2. Needs to hit a vital spot to kill a man outright.
So, from a reasonably close range?
Not necessarily. The position of the body and that shattered window indicate a specific line of fire. Probably came from across the road, almost directly opposite. There's enough cover there for a marksman to use a rifle unseen. It's a bit of waste ground beside a telephone box, about 18-20 yards away.
With a telescopic sight?
I doubt if our man had used the scope. Not accurate enough.
What? Telescopic sight not accurate?
But to use the scope properly, you've got to sight it in, especially on a cold rifle. Those fellows you see in films who assemble a breakdown rifle on scope and then drill someone straight through the heart seldom works in reality. You need 3 or 4 aiming shots and have to make adjustments each time until you could group with some accuracy.
And what did he use then?
My guess is a target rifle. A very good one. And he must have already zeroed it into the required range.
Meticulous fellow.
That phone box.
Just across the road. You can see it from here.
Yeah. He must have phoned this house from that box. And when Redkin came in to answer the phone...
He presents a perfect target.
Yeah, bang in the middle of the window. He must have known the layout of this place. He must also have known that Radkin was always here at 8:30 in the morning.
A professional. Must be.
Yeah. Well, we better get this stuff over to the lab. Oh, and I want photo blow-ups of that, all right?
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
I see that.
That was in the wallet, was it?
Yeah.
It's a foresight element from a small bore competition target rifle. Sort of rifle I've just been talking about.
Look, I keep telling you, I found that
You're
wallet.
beginning to sound like a broken record,
You're not
Sammy.
going to make me change my story.
Look, I
mate.
want the truth.
You're getting it.
Now, you picked that wallet. I want to know where, exactly where. Was it Waterloo Main Line or the tube station nearby? Where? And the man you stole it from, what did he look like? What was he doing when you dipped him? Was he a commuter? Tall, short? Now, come on, Sammy.
Blimey, don't you get excited? Look, I found that wallet lying on the pavement in Phoenix Road.
Sergeant. CRO are checking on the murdered man, so C11 and registry. Find out what they've got. Go around and collect it for me, will you?
Well, I could phone
Now,
from
just
here.
collect it, eh? Thank you.
That's it?
Thank you. Now, out. It's quite right what they say, isn't it, Sam? Yeah? Older you get, the younger the coppers look.
Blimey, you're right. That one looks to be ain't been out of nappies long. And you know what he done? Left himself wide open.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know the law, see?
Yes.
And I know they don't call Scotland Yard in for a tuppeny halfpenny caper like this.
Right again, Sam.
You're chief superintendent.
Got the scars to prove it.
So what the hell do you want with me?
I want your help.
Cool. That'll be the day.
No, I mean it.
What? Somebody half inched the crown jewels, did they? I'll come clean. I did it. Yeah. Old Philip was taking a stroll down the mall, and I did a bit of a dip in his old pocket. Got Her Majesty's tiara in the inside pocket. Cool, my help. Look, I found that wallet. I found it, honest. How many more times?
Look, Sammy, there's just the two of us in here, right?
Yeah.
And this is London. Vauxhall. No hidden microphones in the cop shops. Nobody listening at the keyhole. No witnesses.
You'll start using your fists, are you?
You know better than that.
Oh, do I?
I want information. Vital information.
Look, I'm no grass.
I have to know who you got that wallet from.
I found a wallet.
Now, Sammy, a man was killed this morning in Wembley. Found dead. Shot through the head.
Eh?
Murdered, Sammy.
Blimey.
So I don't give a damn if you picked 1,000 pockets this morning. I'm interested in only one. The last one. The one you found that wallet in.
Well, you put me in a very difficult position, Mr. Kingdom. I mean, if I was to say that I was working, doing a bit of dipping and that, I'd be dropping myself right in it, wouldn't I? Not with my record. They're liable to put me away.
Sam, I'm not going to say a word to the desk sergeant or to that constable about anything I hear from you, but I promise you this. You give me the runaround, and I'll have you on perverting the course of justice, obstructing me in the execution of my duty, lurching with intent to pick pockets,
Intimidation
vagrancy.
and threat.
Yeah, and I'm not a snotty-nosed PC either, so don't try me, will you, mate? Bloody cell-block barrister, you.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. All right. I'm listening.
Well, between you and me and the gatepost, Mr. Kingdom, I was working. Waterloo Station. Doing a bit of dipping. Commuters coming in, you know, all busy, jostling about all over the place. I had a good morning's dip. Caught 7 mugs, all nice and clean. 89 quid and some dollars.
But the last one, now tell me about him. What train did he get off? What did he look like?
Well, I don't know, he was just hanging about, you know, killing time.
What did he look like?
Well, average height, I suppose. I can't tell you any more
His
than that.
face, Sam. Give me a description. Old, young, dark, fair. Tell me about his face.
You're out of touch a bit, Mr. Kingdom, aren't you? I mean, you're slipping. You know a pickpocket never looks at the face of a bloke he's about to rob. I'll tell you what, though. He was wearing a wind cheater. That's right. And he had a golf bag. Over his shoulder, carrying a golf bag. Yeah, that's right. Well, if they're carrying something, it makes it easier. You know.
Yes, bullet from a 22 target rifle.
And you could match it to a particular weapon?
All you've got to do is to find the rifle.
Thank you. Now, I'd like you to have a look at this.
It's a triangulation.
Yeah, I can see that. But a triangulation of what?
Does it belong to the killer?
Possibly.
Well, we know he was an expert rifleman. Could have something to do with working out a range.
But not from his vantage point across the road to Radkin's front window.
No, the distances are different. This is a slightly longer range, 32 yards. Presuming that the longer side of the triangle was the range he was working out. He knows the length of two sides in feet. From that he's worked out the length of the third, again in feet. And then he's converted it to yards, giving him a range. He wouldn't have to work out a triangulation for the range to Radkin's window. All he'd have to do is to pace it out.
It's another target, then.
Oh, this is all guesswork.
He's going to hit again, and he's worked out the details.
You don't even know for sure that scrap of paper belongs to the killer.
Radkin was killed at 8:30 this morning. 1 hour later, that wallet turned up at Waterloo. 1 hour later. That's about how long it would take at that time of day to get from Wembley to Waterloo. He'd come straight from the scene. Straight from killing Radkin.
So what does he do with a rifle? You can't break down a target.
He had it
rifle.
with him when Sammy was picking his pocket.
You can't carry a rifle around
Oh,
London
yes, you
without
can. In a golf bag. The only thing that Sammy remembers about his victim is that he was carrying a golf bag. As Sergeant Ward said, he's a very meticulous man, not leaving anything to chance.
Ward also assumed he was a professional.
You don't agree?
I don't think so.
Why?
A professional killer, a hired gunman, wouldn't use a target rifle. I've been in ballistics a good many years, and I know the pattern. A shotgun, a pistol, even a carbine. But a target rifle, with all that paraphernalia, awkward peep sight, sling, and they're all single-shot weapons. On top of that, they're heavy, cumbersome.
So, it's an ordinary citizen, wandering around the street somewhere with a target rifle, waiting to use it again.
It's still only a theory.
Well, it's the only one I've got at the moment, so I'm holding on to it. Let's get back to this. Seems he rings the important things. Radkin's phone number, for instance. So what about this? 1346/10 by what's obviously the target. Does that mean anything to you?
Not a thing.
You took your time.
It was worth it.
All right, what's the matter with you?
Henry Arthur Barrett. That's what's the matter with me. Harry Barrett.
What's he got to do with anything?
3 years ago, William Radkin was one half of a shady real estate company called the Kelton Development Corporation. It gave a new meaning to the word Rachmanism. In comparison, it made his properties look like palaces. The other half, Harry Barrett.
Barrett?
Yeah, gangster. We've been after him for years. Operates from Southampton now. They keep an eye on him down there as much as they can, but they can't get enough evidence to pin even a parking ticket on him.
Extortion, murder, pushing bad quality heroin onto school kids. I spent 6 months of my life sweating after him.
Murder?
Yeah. Inspector Dunn, C Division, August 1971, Maida Vale. Shot and killed in the execution of his duty. Assailant, unknown.
It was Harry Barrett or one of his mob.
Not enough evidence. Case is still open.
Barrett and Radkin. That's an unlikely partnership, isn't it? That insignificant little man living in a Wembley back street?
Oh, Radkin was just the accountant. The partnership was split up after the company was dissolved. Barrett went on to bigger and better things. Radkin slipped quietly out of the picture.
And tucked himself unobtrusively away in Wembley until this morning.
If we could tie Barrett into this, we could nail him. If he murdered his ex-partner.
After 3 years...
Blackmail? Suppose Radkin was blackmailing him. Suppose he had solid evidence that could put Barrett away.
No. Barrett's a professional. He'd have used professional heavies.
So?
Well, we think that Radkin might have been killed by an amateur.
As I explained to Chief Superintendent Kingdom, I said that was how it might have been done, not how it was done. I mean, he asked me for my professional opinion, and I was only too pleased to give him all the help that I could.
Don't give me that, Sam. You told him exactly how you did it. You told him exactly where you did it. As far as I'm concerned, that's as good as a signed confession.
Listen, any conversation I had with the Chief Superintendent was held in the strictest confidence. So can I go now?
Go?
Yeah.
You can wait. In there.
Not too long, though. Racing to White City tonight. Oh, by the way, I'll do another cup of tea. That young constable, he knows how I like it. Any more of them sugar buns going, I wouldn't mind a couple of them. All right. Realise I should need my money before I go. 89 quid and them dollars.
Fleetwood. Yes, Sarge?
Where are you going, son?
Oh, just off duty, Sarge.
Wrong. There's a chum of yours in there.
Sammy Cutler.
Cup of tea. Sugar bun. Get it.
Found anything yet?
Well, what are we looking for?
Well, there might be something here.
The place has been turned over already.
Something that was missed.
Like what?
Something to tie in with Harry Barrett.
Well, we don't need any evidence for that. We know there's a connection between the two. They were partners, weren't they?
Yeah, 3 years ago. There's no evidence of any contact between them since then.
Well, pick up Harry Barrett.
For what?
Well, for questioning to start with. And when you've got him in, let me have a go at him.
Oh, for heaven's sake,
No,
grow
look,
up.
this man killed a copper. I knew him. I knew Mike Dunn, knew him well. We came up together. I liked him. And his wife and kids.
And you've got it in for the bloke who shot him,
Yeah.
who is supposed to have shot him.
Yeah, I was with Mike just an hour before he went to Maida Vale. I had to make the widow's call. I had to watch her break down.
All right. I know. I've had to do the same thing myself. But if you want to pull in Harry Barrett on this one, keep looking.
Got anything from Southampton Crime Squad?
Nothing specific, just background information. Barrett never makes a move without a pair of bodyguards, sticks to a regular schedule. Very clever and very careful.
Does he come up to London?
Yeah. Every Saturday. Goes back again on Sunday evenings. They think he brings a payroll up with him. Got people working for him here, contacts, pushers.
Every Saturday?
Yeah. Takes no chances. Uses the train.
So he's got enemies outside the law, too.
Obviously.
Maybe they'll catch up with him one day.
Save us a job.
That's right.
Because it doesn't look as if we're ever going to pin anything on Barrett. Not at the rate you're going.
You certain there's going to be another killing?
I'm not certain. But I think so. Yeah?
There's a woman outside, walks up with a key in her hand, as if she lived here. I thought you'd want to see her.
Yeah, thank you. Sure.
Would you come in, please?
What's going on then?
And we're police officers.
I can see that.
Who are you?
Beg your pardon.
Your name, please.
Joyce Ross. Mrs. Joyce Ross. What's going on? Where's Bill?
You a friend of his?
Yes.
You live here, Mrs. Ross?
Well,
Do you?
sometimes. Oh, God, something's happened, hasn't it? Something's happened to Bill.
You weren't here this morning, then?
No, I've told you. I've been staying with my sister in Reigate. You've only got to pick up the phone, ask her.
Nobody's doubting your word, Mrs. Ross.
Who did it? Who did it?
When did you first meet William Radkin?
Oh, I don't know, years ago.
When?
4, 5 years ago, I went to work for him and Harry Barrett.
Ah, yes, the Kelton Development Corporation.
Yes, I was their secretary.
And after that?
Bill and I came to an arrangement. I'm a widow.
Yes, tell me about the Kelton Development Corporation.
The newspapers told everything there was to know about it. You've only got to read what they said 3 years ago. Boy, they really made the mud stick.
Not without cause. The company bought up rat-infested, condemned slums, let them out at extortionate rates for people to live in.
That was Barrett. Bill never approved of it. He always said it was wrong. Anyway, he was only the accountant. Barrett was the brains. And after the fire, it was Bill who dissolved the partnership. Said he didn't want anything more to do with it. Said it was a rotten business.
What fire?
East End, just off the Kelton High Road, wasn't it?
Yes, house went up in flames. Woman and her child were burnt to death. Bill was upset about that for weeks after.
Oh, poor Bill.
It was an accident.
I bet the place was a fire trap.
Well, the company was criticised, but no real blame was attached. Then Bill went to live in Wembley and tried to forget about it. Never put a foot wrong since then, just led a quiet life and kept himself to himself.
I never got in touch with Barrett again.
Wouldn't even mention his name.
Must be very tired, Mrs. Ross. The officer will show you where you can get a cup of tea. I may want to talk to you later on, but in the meantime, please. Crossword puzzles.
What?
Crossword puzzles. They should be an integral part of every police training program. One word, and it gives you the clue to the whole pattern. One word, and everything begins to fall into place.
Oh, yes. What's the word in this particular case?
F-I-R-E. Fire. 3 years ago.
Fire?
Yeah.
That's it. Radkin had evidence that tied in Barrett with that fire. Criminal negligence, perhaps. Now, something that
Wrong.
points...
You're completely off course. You're letting Mike Dunn cloud the issue for you. Can't see the wood for the trees. Barrett didn't kill Radkin. He didn't even have him killed.
You know that, you're sure?
No, not 100%. Not even 75%. But I don't think Barrett had anything to do with that killing. I do think that he's the next intended victim. Oh, Sergeant.
Sir?
I'm sorry to barge in on you like this. I expect you're wondering what it's all about.
Oh, a horrible suspicion has something to do with Sammy Cutler, sir.
Well, you might say that he started the ball rolling.
He would, sir.
We're mounting an operation from here later in the day, all right?
Oh, come in, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ah, Mr. Lester, I'm glad you could come.
He said it was urgent.
I think it is. Now, how much of the background do you know?
Not much. Barrett, Development Corporation, fire.
2 fires, actually. Both of them attributed to defective wiring. Now, in the first one, it was discovered pretty quickly. Little damage was done, except, of course, Barrett's other tenants began to scream a bit. Then came the second fire, and in this one, a woman and a child were burnt to death. Name of Onslow, Mrs. Juliet Onslow. Her husband was at work when it happened. The place went up like a tinderbox. No hope of getting anyone out alive.
When the husband got back, he went berserk, then collapsed in a state of shock.
He went to a mental hospital. They kept him there for nearly 2 years.
His name was George Onslow. We've checked his background. At least I've checked his background. In case anyone's interested, I haven't been to bed yet.
We're not interested. Now, according to a psychiatrist, Onslow's one consuming interest is shooting. In fact, at one time he was the Southern County's small-bore target shooting champion.
Yes, after he was discharged from hospital, he rejoined the Kelton Rifle Club. They've got an indoor range at Kelton Close.
Yes, they'd been holding his rifle for him.
Well, he's no criminal record. No reason at all why he shouldn't have a licensed .22 target rifle.
So he shot Radkin, believing that he and Barrett were responsible for his wife and child's death.
Morally, they were.
All right. I think you've got a good case. If you can find Onslow and his rifle. What do you want from me?
I believe he's planning the same treatment for Barrett. I want you to tell me where.
I'm a ballistics officer, not a crystal gazer.
I think it's all there. 1346 over 10. Now, this man doesn't divide his numbers up into groups. Look at Radkin's phone number, for instance. So, 1346 could be 1346. Could be a time.
It's a possibility, I
That's
suppose.
more than that. It's a reasonable assumption. Now, Harry Barrett works from Southampton these days, and he's another very meticulous man. Every Saturday, he makes a business trip to London. Every Saturday. Takes no chances, always travels with 2 bodyguards. Nothing can touch him. But he doesn't risk a car journey, always uses the train. Southampton, Waterloo.
And it gets in at 1346, 1:46 p.m.
On platform 10.
And Onslow's going to pick him off as he gets off the train.
Another reasonable assumption.
And today, I think. Today's Saturday. I doubt very much if Onslow would waste much time in between killings. That's why I dragged you here this morning. I want you to go to Waterloo, and I want you to tell me where he plans to shoot from.
Well, vantage point. Shooting downwards from a height of 32 feet. But at what point? Where exactly does he intend to shoot Barrett? As he steps off the train, at the ticket barrier?
That's what I want you to find out. Go to Waterloo, survey it. Put yourself in Onslow's shoes. Find that vantage point. 32 feet high, 32 yards from a likely spot.
All right.
And don't forget those 2 heavies. If you want a clear line of fire, he has to pick out 1 man from 3.
At 32 yards range, with a target rifle. That's not too difficult.
You, going out on a limb, Governor?
My favourite position. Get onto the railways police, will you? I want to talk to their chief superintendent.
Right.
We'll need their cooperation at the station. I want that train monitored and timed from the minute it leaves Southampton.
Yep. What about the commander? Have you put him in the picture yet?
No, not yet. I'm seeing him later this morning to put the details in front of him.
That's comforting.
Just get on with it, eh?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a call from Southampton Crime Squad. We do want to make sure that Barrett gets on that train, don't we?
That's right.
If ifs and ands.
Huh?
Well, I was just thinking. Suppose that young copper hadn't picked up Sammy Cutler. Suppose Sammy hadn't been caught. And if we hadn't found that scrap of paper. And if you hadn't figured it out.
Go on.
Well, good night, Harry Barrett, eh?
Now, look, Alan...
Ifs and ands, Governor, ifs and ands. We're never going to nail Harry Barrett. He's going to go on pushing that filthy stuff, and God knows how many teenage kids he'll destroy with it. He'll go on thumping his way to the very top, and not a soul will touch him.
All right, that's enough.
No, I'm only stating facts now, aren't I?
I know what you're doing.
No, things we already know. I mean, 3 years. And no one's ever caught him stepping out of line once. 3 years and a squad of coppers watching him in Southampton. 3 years.
They'll lumber him one day.
Cobblers.
He'll slip up. Can't get away with it all the time.
Well, he's going to get away with it this afternoon, isn't he? And we're going to be there to make sure that he does. We are going to make sure that Onslow does not put a bullet through his head, aren't we?
That's right. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Random thoughts, Governor, that's all. Just thinking aloud. I mean, it's crossed your mind, too, hasn't it? What was it you said the other day about someone else catching up with him one day? Saving us a job?
Why don't you just give it a rest, eh?
No, ifs and ands, Governor, ifs and ands. I mean, if we weren't there on the dot of 1:46, if we got there at 1:47, and if Leicester never found that vantage spot, well, Barrett need never come to trial.
If you stopped thinking out loud, if you kept your nose in the book, you might just get promotion one day.
I haven't said a word.
You what?
Well, not a word out of place. I mean, if this conversation had just been taped, there'd be nothing on it that the commander or the commissioner himself could take exception to. I was indulging in suppositions, exploring every detail of the case, every facet, looking in all the dark corners. I was adopting your methods. It's the way you work.
I don't reach the same conclusions.
Yeah, by the book. All the time?
As often as I can.
And the Harry Barretts of this world roam the streets as free as a breeze.
And that's my fault, is it? Oh, if you had your way...
If I had my way. Well, that's a different supposition again, isn't it?
And finally, when we do move in, it must be quickly and unobtrusively. I want no mistakes. I want no accidents. All right? Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be safer if we stopped Barrett getting on that train at all?
Safer for Barrett, perhaps. But we might lose our man.
Ah, but surely Onslow wouldn't know whether he was on the train or not.
Possibly. On the other hand, he just might. Now, he's a very meticulous fellow. He's gone to a lot of trouble to find out the habits and the movements of his victims. Which means he probably has an accomplice. Somebody he's paying or somebody else with a grudge against Barrett. Now, in that case, I'm not saying it would happen, but it could happen. That if Barrett didn't get on that train, Onslow would get word. Wouldn't turn up at the station at all. All right?
Yes, sir, I can see that. But in that case, why wait?
You mean why not pick him up as soon as he arrives on the station?
Yes, sir.
Well, for one reason. He's not going to be as easy to spot as all that. We've no photograph, no precise description.
Ah, but he'll be carrying a golf bag.
Oh, and you're suggesting we pick up every man carrying a golf bag on a fine afternoon at Waterloo Station, eh? Anyway, as I've said before, whatever his mental state, he's very clever and very careful. He may have found some other way of hiding the rifle. Anyway, Waterloo is a very large area. It would be almost impossible to cover it completely, and if we move too soon, we might lose him. Permanently. All right?
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Ward.
Yep.
Lester.
Yes, Mr. Lester. Good. Yeah? Yes? Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, and you think that's it? Yes, well, how certain are you? Good, fine. Thank you. Well, it looks as if we've got our location. There's a staircase here leading up to the restaurant. Now, just beside the restaurant is a small storage room with a window overlooking the concourse. The line of sight is 32 yards to the barrier of number 10 platform. Lester thinks that's the most likely spot.
Good.
So, now we've got a focal point for our operation.
All right,
the local beatmen are already on the scene.
That was Southampton. Barrett and 2 other men got on that train. It left on time.
Come on. Yeah, Betty, it's Kingdom. The commander's expecting me. Can I come up now? Well, where is he? How long will he be? Well, look, in that case, all right. If you're sure. Right. Kingdom.
Hello, Governor. Allen here.
Yes, what is it?
We just heard from the railway police. Our train has passed through Shawford. It's running a minute and a half ahead of time.
Oh, hell, that's all I need.
Is the commander happy?
I haven't seen him yet. He's with the assistant commissioner now. I'm seeing him in 5 minutes.
Oh, well, if by any chance you don't make it in time...
I'll be there. Bloody red tape. It's Kingdom. I want a car, please, and hurry. Yeah, and get in touch with Sergeant Ward at Vauxhall. Tell him I'm on my way. Right.
Yes, love, but did he say how long he'd be?
All right. It's just that I don't want him to miss any of the fun. Okay. That really would be too bad. 1:12.
BR1, loud and clear.
I'm held up. Puncture. Waiting for another car. Tell Ward to carry on. He knows what to do.
He's not here yet. Well, I thought he was cutting it rather fine myself.
The train arriving at platform 10 is the 1346 from Southampton.
I bet David Emery's worried about you, Governor. You move like the wind when you're in a hurry.
Roger, Onslow?
Yep. And his rifle. PSA Martina International Mark IV. Lovely job.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Lester. Ah. You got here in time, then?
1:43 on the dot.
Harry Barrett.
I kept my nose in that book of yours.
Yeah. I noticed. Well, we've still got that little job on our hands. We'll finish it one day.